just in my office right now, guys, walking around checking up on how everybody's doing, and somebody's left their workstation. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about this light socket here. Now this light socket has three little holes over there. The top one is for the earth, and the bottom two is one is for the phase and one is for neutral. Now what is the voltage that comes out of this? Well, you would think that it's 230 volts, and if you're in India like we are right now, and if you're in the West, in America or Canada, you'll get 110 volts, right? Well, that's sort of true, but what is voltage? Now the definition of voltage, or one definition of voltage, is the difference of electrical potential, right? So that means that the difference between these bottom two, the difference between the bottom two has to be 230 volts. Now, why are we talking about this? Because I love talking about this pain and pleasure principle that causes procrastination. Now, what happens with procrastination? Procrastination is a silly thing because we do it all the time, and some procrastination is good, because if we don't procrastinate, we'll lose our heads, we'll explode, because if we just do everything that comes to our mind, then we just won't be able to handle that much data. So procrastination is sort of needed as a defense mechanism for humanity to stop our heads from exploding. Now, I remember many years ago, I was procrastinating big time. I remember there was an exam study leave, and my mom, she made sure every morning that I was well fed, and I was going to sit at the dining table where all my books were laid out, and I was going to study. And my brother and sister were gone to school, and my father was traveling, and she was going to work every morning. So every morning I would promise, yes, I'm just going to study as soon as you leave, and look, I'm studying right now. And as soon as she'd leave, I'd just watch TV for a minute. And that minute would turn into 10, and then half an hour, and then I'd watch the next TV show. And pretty soon I'm feeling gross and yucky and guilty because I've watched 4 hours of TV. And about another 2 hours later, my brother and sister would show up home, and we'd kind of have this understanding that, okay, well, if I watch TV, nobody's going to say, because they weren't allowed to watch TV either, so they had to do their homework. So we were kind of in on it together. And they kind of thought that I had been studying all morning anyway, so it was okay for me to watch TV. I hadn't been studying at all. And now I think it was a 2-week exam study leave, and 10 days into it, I hadn't studied one bit. I'd been procrastinating this because the pleasure of watching TV was so much better than the pain of studying. Studying was the worst thing for me. And the pleasure of watching TV was incredible. So the difference of potential was huge. So of course I'm gonna like to watch TV, and as a child we didn't have that. I didn't have that discipline that I would be able to stop myself. And now I remember one day my mom, she'd forgotten something home, and she came back within half an hour of leaving, and I'm watching TV, and she lost it on me. I mean, she exploded. She started accusing me, and I started fighting back, and I'm saying, how dare you accuse me? You don't know, I've been studying every single day. This is just the one time I got caught. I mean, I just took a 1-second break. Look, my books are open over there. And she looked and she said, no, they're not. And they weren't. She called my bluff. And she said, okay, now you go to your room and you study, and you can't come out until you're done. And I said, okay, fine. So I picked up my books and I go to my room. But my room was a big mess. I mean, this thing has to be cleaned. And my mom, she had been telling me for 6 months, clean your room, clean your room. I think I should clean my room. So, like any good kid, I'm going to listen to my mom. And I spent about, I think it was half an hour, 45 minutes, cleaning my room, and it was looking pretty good, and I was pretty proud. And I'm thinking my mom is going to be so proud. 6 months later, I've cleaned my room. And she walks in out of guilt. She was holding a big plate of fruit for me. I think she was just upset that she'd yelled at me, and she lost it again. I think she must have thrown the fruit on the floor or hit me with it or something. I can't remember, but she lost it again, and she just came short of slapping me that day. And I'm saying, Mom, you're the one who kept saying, clean your room, clean. You should be proud. I mean, make up your mind, lady. I'm thinking, either you should be happy I've cleaned my room, or you should be upset. Stop saying it if you didn't want me to clean my room. But we all knew what I was doing, wasn't I? Cleaning my room wasn't the important thing I had to do at that time. I was spending time doing something less important. And why? Because the pain of studying was the worst pain for me. But the pain of cleaning my room was a pretty bad pain too, and that's why I had been avoiding it. But this difference, the pain of studying, if you take that difference, that high pain to lower pain, that can be called pleasure. And when you go from higher pain to lower pain, the pleasure you feel of doing the task that's less painful, well, that's sort of a pleasure, isn't it? So we all go from pain to pleasure, and we tend to find the path of least resistance. It's like water. If you dump water on the table, it'll find the path of least resistance. You'll figure out which way the table's kind of sloped, because water will find its way, and you'll know that that's the way the table was turned. Well, you have to be sure that you're not doing that, and once you're self-aware of these things, once you know that you do this, then and only then can you be sure that you're going to be able to proactively guard yourself from doing these silly things. So guys, don't spend your time doing less important things. Watch out for that pain pleasure principle. When it works backwards on you, it can work forward, and it works really well too, and I'll talk about that in some other video. But when you're doing it the wrong way, guys, you're gonna be spending time doing things that weren't important. They might be urgent, but they certainly weren't important. And when something is urgent important, you better get that done rather than doing something that's less painful, but it's sort of just urgent or sort of just important. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That was the pain and pleasure principle. If you like this video, do share and do like it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, do subscribe to the channel.